ladies and gentlemen, from the Penske team, New Zealander, the pole sitter for the Indy 500, Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, Scott, the lights. We did the lights for you, Scotty. We're doing the lights. Wow. If you didn't break the record, we wouldn't have done it. Yeah, we wouldn't have done it, obviously. Great to see you, buddy. Hey,
He stared you down.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, fine. Good.
He knows the shit you talk about the race.
Yeah. He'd be fun at parties.
Yeah, he would be fun at parties. From New Zealand, which is not Australia.
No, far from it. But it's like me calling you a Canadian, probably.
Oh,
so,
don't do that.
Don't do
You
that.
son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
Don't
do that.
Scott, let's not start like this.
No, I won't.
Okay, I watched Flight of the Conchords. I assume that's...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that show very well.
Okay, so you go New Zealand, start racing whenever you were a kid over there?
Yeah, 6 years old, started, and then I moved to Australia actually when I was 10, and that was more for racing, my mum and dad's business as well. My dad was a truck driver, had a few trucks and stuff, and then I got into race cars when I was 16.
Okay, in Australia, big race scene, right? Because I think you and I chatted about this. We definitely chatted about this. But there was an Australian supercar racer, I believe was the title, that came over for NASCAR, raced in Chicago.
Yep.
He was a rookie in NASCAR. He wins. Like immediately, it's like, okay, here's the next NASCAR guy. He's like, actually, lad, mate. I think you said a word that rhymes with punt, maybe too.
Sure,
You guys love throwing around over there, which is vastly different. But he said, I'm going back to Australia. The race scene in Australia is a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. You know, he won the Bathurst 1000. I won that race as well, which is like our Daytona 500, our Indy 500. It's basically our everything. And that was the opportunity that allowed me to come here and race. But that was the race he went back for and ended up winning. So he's a stud. He's racing in NASCAR now. One of my good friends, Shane, is, and it's cool to see him. But
I don't think anybody's thinking Australia is like, or New Zealand is a race driver hub. But then all of a sudden your eyes get open whenever you guys with these awesome accents show up, win, and then decide to dip on back.
Yeah.
Now supercars? What type of cars are those most similar to?
Very similar to NASCAR. So the same sort of concept. So when I went from supercars to IndyCar,
Which is when?
That was in 2020, end of 2020. I got the opportunity to come to America. I always wanted to be here. Like America for me was a big league. I'm actually married to an American, so it sort of helped as well.
USA,
So,
USA. Hell yeah,
exactly. So one day I'll be a citizen, but
don't hold your breath. We got a Canadian back there you're speaking of.
Okay.
It's gonna be
but we so moved over here and then did the I always wanted to be in the Indy 500. Like this is the race for me to be a part of, and now to be here and be on the pole and stuff is sick.
Which number Indy 500 is this for you?
This is number 4.
Okay, so I've been told, and now Kyle Larson came over from NASCAR, and obviously he was in the Fast 6. I think he qualified 5th.
Yeah.
Is like the Indy 500, it is, right? It is the spectacle.
Yeah.
Does it take a little bit to learn, like the amount of people, the racing? What is it about the Indy 500?
It's a big month, like just getting used to like the cadence of it and the press.
Ty knows.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
huge.
Absolutely, that's huge. You know, the checker flags on everyone's houses and stuff like that. You know, it's a big deal. So, no, look, I took a bit to learn. I've gone really bad. Honestly, the last 3 years, I haven't had good results, but I've worked hard this year.
What does that mean, worked hard?
Just like looked at a lot of tape, you know, worked with a driving coach and understood like where I've gone wrong, and I feel like I've come in with a completely different mentality and just ready to rip, man.
How old are you?
I can't wait. I'm 31 in June.
Okay, is there a prime age for drivers?
Probably about now. You know, from 28 to sort of 35, that's where you're at. But then I'm racing against like Elio Castroneves and stuff. He's like mid 40s and just killing it. So it's hopefully I'm here till then.
Hell yeah. Whenever you talk about the Indy 500, I know you guys will start with groups of 3. It'll be 3 wide.
Yeah.
And Penske 1, 2, 3. The whole front row is Team Penske. Congrats to you guys. What do we call the team here? Thirsty Threes.
The Thirsty Threes is my car. We call that's my team. We're the Thirsty Threes, or Thirsty for Wins.
Hell yeah.
That's and it's caught on. Like all the commentators call it that, and the fans as well. So it's
fastest ever qualifying speed. And for those that don't know, you do 4 laps, right? And then it's your average speed over the 4 laps. I think the person that ended up lowest was a rookie. He's not in. He was like going 229.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
He has the record at 233.492. So when you're talking about like tenths of a mile per hour average around the track, that is the difference between on the pole and out
Yeah.
of the entire race.
But-
How do you steal those extra little tenths? And how did you become the fastest ever? Is it the car? Is it your driving? Is it the year? What is it?
Look, for me, it's like you go after. I went after my teammates, so we were just pulling downforce out of the car. So the more downforce you can pull out of the car, the faster it goes in a straight line. So you're trying to, move around with that thin edge that you've got. But someone like that young kid, Nolan Siegel, that crashed out, like he literally got so much respect because he, was flat. Or I'm hitting the fence, which is like an amazing way to go out, I could say.
Yeah, you guys all have to have that mindset. Flat means pedal completely down.
Yep, to the middle.
And they actually track that on the screen. It's like, where is your pedal at?
Yeah.
And that's basically like a check. Like, does this person have it or not? Like, it is on the screen. Like, I got a little scared right there. You lifted it up.
Yeah, and he was flat till he hit the fence. So it was like, it went bad in the end, but it was an amazing way to go out. But for me, like, you're constantly working. I remember seeing the first time come up on the dash. Like, it was the fastest speed I've ever gone around there. And I was like, oh my, like, don't stuff it up. Just keep it smooth. And I kept working, tools and stuff in the car that we've got to look after the tires. And brought it home over 4 laps. It was one of the best feelings I've ever had, man.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Team Penske
Thank
going
you.
1 through 3 in the qualifying. Obviously, Penske owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which inevitably owns the IndyCar Series. And you guys cheated a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
There was a push-to-pass situation with Joseph Newgarden. Didn't hit it whenever he was allowed to. It became this big scandal. And since then, you literally win the next week. Now you guys are 1 through 3 on the pole for Indy 500. This is like when the Patriots got called out, and the Patriots had the mindset of, you guys think that we need to cheat to win this thing. You've used it as motivation, it feels like, within the team. Is that accurate?
For sure. At the end of the day, I pushed the button, and the rules are the rules. We got penalised, and it was all about just working hard to get our integrity and our reputation back and build that with our competitors. But we came out the next week. I've never been felt more ready to come out and just smash it. And we won the pole, won the race, and then now we've got the Indy 500 pole, the biggest pole everyone wants. So let's just go.
That's the biggest. Oh, is that right? Because it was getting real loud.
Yeah.
It was getting. It even made it. I think we led the show with it. It was on national news. I think they were talking about it.
Yeah.
It was like a big deal. And then you guys afterwards go, let's all relax here. Con Man's got a question for you.
So obviously, Scotty, you're not just waking up and hopping into the car and then driving 234 miles an hour. Like, what is the routine to get to that point where you're ready to go? Like, we watched a video of Tyreek Hill at an F1 race, and say what you want about F1, we think it stinks. But what do you do to get ready?
So boring.
I agree.
They do the reflex thing, like catching tennis balls. Like, what's your routine before you actually get in the car and know, like, all right, I'm ready to go as fast as humanly possible?
I've got a couple of little reaction things that I do on my like, I've got an iPad type things like reaction testing and stuff like that. And then I just try and get my heart rate up as much as I can, whether that's just with the skipping rope and whatever. I find I'm more alert when I'm sitting at like 110, 120 heart rate. And then eventually when I get out in the car, it's sort of sitting around 162 the whole time.
Jeez.
How much weight do you lose? You're pretty skinny, lad.
Yeah, 5, 6 pounds normally during a race. So I'll burn like in 2.5, 3 hours. So I'll burn 2,300 calories. So it's a big workout, but we're not just sitting in the car, but it's...
We know you're peeing all over yourself.
Of course,
we're-
pooping and stuff,
No, my teammate does that, not me. So
Like your teammate poops all over him?
No, he doesn't poop himself, but he does pee. I know for sure.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the last lap and you got
just
to
got to
poop,
stop drinking. You got to stop. You just as soon as you stop
You gotta
drinking,
stay
you sweat it out.
Yeah, but you're losing 5, 6 pounds. I mean, what do you want from it? It's a tough game there. How fast were the supercars going? How fast does NASCAR go? And then is IndyCar the fastest amongst all racing cars, or where is it?
At the Indy 500, yes. Like we're 180 mile an hour probably at Bathurst at the fastest race in Australia. Then it was about 205, 210 for a NASCAR, and then on the oval we're 240. I think the fastest I've ever gone is 244, 243.
Okay, so do you know you're going that fast at that time?
It's all relative. It's not until you have a moment. Like if you have a slide or you're going multiple football fields a second. So like the minute you have
oh my God.
Yeah, the minute you have like a moment, you're like, oh wow, this is going pretty quick. Or you're trying to pull it up into pit lane. I had a crash a couple of years ago and it was like 86G and it just happened like that. Like when I hit the fence, it was just nuts.
Hey,
pulling 86 Gs.
Well, 86G, I hit the fence.
When it stops.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt. So. It wasn't great.
I would assume. So 180, 205, you guys are going 240. What's the F1 race? Do we know what that is?
I think they get up to like, 2:05 around there as well. Like they're pretty fast there.
Boom.
Okay,
But-
so
Losers.
how about when you said you're going multiple football fields a second? So your eyes, they can't catch everything, or it does catch everything?
It's like a little bit of speed blur, you could say, but like I said, it's all the people going out with you. They're all doing the same speed, so it's all relative.
Well, not everybody. We see people get lapped in the back,
Yeah. Oh,
and they're
there's
just
a
trying to
couple.
collect Jingo. Yeah.
They're starting the race, getting the check, getting on going. But
Yeah.
no, look, it's competitive out there. I'm telling you. Like there'll be 33, and it'll be just a dogfight the whole time, and that's what's so cool about.
But you guys have
Like we are, like you're running wheel to wheel, and the minute you touch wheels, that you're just like a ping pong ball down the down the walls if that happens. So you've got to be pretty careful, and I think that's why you have a lot of camaraderie between the drivers. But at the same time, you've got to sort of you stand up for yourself as well.
Yeah, if you don't win, you're going to get kicked out of there.
Absolutely.
Camaraderie is good until you're no longer part of the
Absolutely.
group or whatever. I know that they've been trying to change the build of the car so it's safer. But every year there's somebody that squirrel suits, and like Scott Dixon a few years back,
the tire
man, that
last
was
year.
bad.
tire went flying. It's
Yeah.
like this year's car. Has it changed much from last year's car?
No, it's same car. So we've still got the aero screen and stuff that comes over. So it's the halo, but with a screen on top of it to stop anything coming in the cockpit. But they've made a huge amount of like technical changes to be it safer for us. But at the end of the day, it's motorsport. You're always risking at some point. Like you can go over the top of a wheel or something like
240
that.
miles an hour, open wheel. It used to be.
Yeah.
They used to not even have used to just be their helmet sticking up out of that thing, and it's like 230 miles an hour.
That's badass. Like it's cool, man. Though, like you've got to have that element of risk, though. You could like that. That's the cool feeling about being a racing driver, is being able to have that risk and know that if this goes wrong, it will hurt and it'll be a problem. But that's if you can go fast and you can do the lap that we did on the weekend, it's unreal.
I just got a heads up from friend of the program, Connor Daly via Zito.
Connor,
Heard you can just erase beers.
yeah.
Wow. That's what Connor says. Just real quick, the guy that you're talking to right now can house beers. So we're celebrating success. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why we call the Percy Threes. Party.
Is that a New Zealand thing?
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess we do drink a lot of beer over in New Zealand for sure, but we brought a new party scene to the IndyCar series for sure.
I love that. Tone has a question for you,
Yeah,
Scott.
Scott, there's a chance for storms and rain on Sunday. Does that matter to you when the slicks come off and the wets go on, or does it matter to you at all?
We don't run in the rain on the oval, so we don't have wet. So we'll just have to wait. I'll just be playing PlayStation or something till
Any rain, or just like if there's any moisture on the track?
any moisture. If it's like a mist, they'll stop it. But they've got. I think they can get air tightens out. It's like
It's on 240 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Can't just have
70
rain.
minutes
Where
to
I come
drive the
from,
track.
you just put the wets on and you just keep going.
Oh yeah, and I do that on the road course, street course, but on the oval, man. But,
It's on 240 miles an hour.
Indy
Yeah.
500, Tony.
What's
They don't
the-
just race.
I'm just saying where I come from.
yeah, you're doing like 30 mile an hour, right?
No.
No. Watch your mouth.
I was born down in Talladega, so
Oh, respect. Yeah, respect. Those guys don't
What
play.
is the best weather? Warm, cold?
Warm's like it's humid. That's a problem. But we'll go warm.
Warm's best, no humidity though.
No humidity for the engine performance.
And for stickiness of tires on track, right?
Yeah. So the hardest thing when you're following in traffic is like getting right behind a car in the heat. And if it's a little cooler, it makes that life a little bit easier. But
Ty has a question for you, massive 500 fan.
Yeah, so obviously I've been very vocal about the Indy 500, but that does not mean that I don't. I mean, you're going 234 miles an hour in a car.
I do love the
Average.
banter.
That's
I
appreciate
do
that.
respect it.
But I didn't grow up in like a racing community per se. Same deal. Like parents weren't into cars or anything like that. I've been once. I have said like, hey, if you have the opportunity to go once, absolutely do it. It's sweet.
Yeah.
But how would you sell watching the Indy 500 to someone who has no stake in the game, doesn't care at all? Like, why should I watch this weekend?
Look, I think it's amazing just being a part of. One, you see history. It's a race that's been going for. This is 108th running of the race. The historic feature of it is it's hard to go past. Then you have 450,000 people. There's 50,000 inside the place that doesn't know what's going on because the snake pit's happening and whatnot.
It's Timmy Trump at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
See
it's
you
like
there.
it's wild. It's wild.
On Sunday.
See you
It's
there.
just an if you're a sport fan, you just like it's amazing to be a part of. Just seeing it's one of the top 5 best sporting events in the world, and I think it's a bucket list for any sports person to come over and just check it out and see what goes on.
Well, hopefully you'll get the milk. What type of milk do you already
Whole
make?
milk.
Whole milk.
Whole milk, absolutely.
Yeah, just dump that shit.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be drinking that like crazy.
Well, dump that and then you get a couple. Scotty, good luck. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
making time to stop by, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, before you get up and leave,
Yeah, I don't know. What's the deal here? Do I just go?
well, we're going to throw into a conversation with Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
Could be Indy
Yeah.
500 champion.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
I appreciate
Can't
you
wait to
guys.
have a beer or two with you. I don't think
Oh,
I've
yeah.
ever drank with somebody from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Yeah,
Australia?
Not now, but Sunday for sure.
Foster's New Zealand for beer.
Right now, we're locked in right now?
Yeah, we're locked in. Yeah. I'll have a sherbet on Sunday.
Okay, good.